Good evening, adventurers, and welcome to today's episode of GoodBerry Cafe, which is the little warm cafe where everyone is welcome to come in and pull up a chair. Today we're serving up a cup of inspiration, so I hope you'll come in and stay a while. My name is Jem, and I'll be your host for another evening of GoodBerry Cafe. So here on GoodBerry Cafe, on the second Monday of the month, I invite some friends to join me in trying out some new, weird, unique, and creative indie tabletop role-playing games. So this virtual cafe is meant to be a warm, safe, and inviting space where my guests and I feel comfortable learning and stumbling our way through these very unique and fun games that we'll all try out together. So tonight we will be playing a game called A Diner at the End, which this game is created by Bamax Gaming, and it's a storytelling game about times past. So the intro to the game is, I'll read the intro and then we'll introduce our players at the table tonight. So the intro is, you find yourself seated at a table among a group of people you've never met before, in a place that feels familiar. You've never been here, and yet the atmosphere is comforting, disarming. It feels a little bit like home. So the Diner at the End is a collaborative improvisational storytelling game that invites its players to share the experiences, dreams, and regrets of characters whose time has been spent. So the players will take on the personas of people across space and time, and we use a standard deck of playing cards as a means to guide our characters' conversations and reflections. This game celebrates the lives we lead in all of their joys and sorrows, and challenges players to find contentment in the limited time afforded to us all. I'm very excited to be trying out this game with all of you today. But first, let's get to know everyone at the table. So let's start with the person we know already. We'll start with Joe.
That's me.
You want to introduce yourself and the name of the character you're playing tonight and a little bit about you.
Hi, I'm Joe. You can find me here, like pretty much all the time, except for when Spell Shots is going on, or GoodBerry on sometimes. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok at New Age Cosplay, where I do cosplay stuff. It's new, it's fun. I'm not really good at it, but I'm there for you. And I'm playing Arik tonight.
And you don't have to say any more about him because we'll find
that's
out.
all you get. That's all you get, people. You learn nothing else about Arik.
All right, and let's go on to Hans.
Hi, I am Hans. I can be found on, oh goodness, every other Wednesday here on Queer and Present Danger. Online, Instagram and Twitter at HansKate. I technically have TikTok. There's 3 of them. That's it. But it's there. And I will be playing Annabelle Claire Adams tonight.
All right, and let's go on to Parker.
Hello, my name is Parker Bliss. I am a cosplayer, vocalist, and general TTRPG enthusiast. You can find me all over the internet at Parker Bliss. I do a lot of YouTube videos where I go and explore Ren fairs and conventions and different things, but if you want to find me IRL, I am most often found at a Misty Mountain Gaming booth at a convention. That's it.
And Misfit.
That's me. Hi, I am Misfit. I go by Misfit Playlands. I actually run a Discord where we introduce new players to new systems. So being on here is super fun and exciting. I hope a lot of people in my Discord are watching tonight so they can watch me stumble through and look kind of goofy and silly playing new stuff. You can find me all over the various social medias at Misfit Playland. TikTok is kind of a hit or miss place for me. Just so you know, don't follow me there. And if you do want to meet me IRL as well, you can also find me at a Misty Mountain Gaming booth.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I know we had a lot of last minute adjustments to the table, so I really appreciate you all for being here and for stepping in. So I will have the mods have already linked to the game in the chat, so thank you for that. But for tonight, like usual, I'll try and talk through some of the rules and some of the mechanics as we play. But for the audience out there, I just want you to remember that we're all learning this together, so please have patience with us. Uh, with that, I think I'll go ahead and start explaining the rules of the game. So this game just requires a standard deck of playing cards without jokers. And as it is a collaborative improvisational storytelling game, it is GM-less. And there's no player with a designated role to run the game. And the players will share in the role of adding bits of narration here and there to flesh out the scene. So it's definitely a high improv, high narrative storytelling game. So before we came in today, all of us as players started by deciding our characters. And so these characters could be any people or beings across space and time or worlds. So the rules say, ask you, who will you be? A starving artist during a renaissance, an experienced pilot from humanity's crawl across the solar system, a powerful citizen fallen to shame. So we all had to take a moment to discover our character and think of what their life must have been like, or what might have inspired them, and how they have met their end, because this diner is at the end. So this game takes place in a diner. The diner is a place where the deceased wait to pass on onto eternity. However, this diner will look different for each of our characters. It represents a place of importance. So one player might see the diner as a tavern, another might see the diner as a spaceship, another might think of it as their family's home kitchen on a spring afternoon. So the way the gameplay works is we start by dealing one card face down to each player. We have currently a online deck of cards that we'll be using for this game, and we've already dealt that one card face down. And so the first thing we're going to do is, acting as our characters, we're going to go around and introduce ourselves to one another and make some conversation around the table. We've all suddenly woken up or appeared or materialized in this diner. And so we're going to see what happens from that dialogue and that role play. And then from that point, we will take turns drawing a card from the deck. And the suit and the value of the card each serve as inspiration for a memory that your character has. And so in the rules of the game, there is a menu that we use to find the basis of the character's memory, such as inspiring a certain emotion and also who that emotion might be with, or who might be in that memory. And if you find that you need a little bit more inspiration, the rules also say you can draw 2 cards. And once the players all feel like that their character stories have been nearly completely told, each player will look at their face down card and decide if this memory is the last memory would carry with them to the end. And if not, what might they think on? Either way, will they choose to share that memory with the other characters or reminisce privately? With the last memory in mind, it's time for the characters to leave the diner, and then we'll talk about how the character feels, and how would each character leave a place that carries such meaning to them for the last time. And so once all characters have left the diner, the game will end. So it's going to be lots of role play tonight. I'm excited. I'm super excited. Do any of my other players have any questions before we jump in? Right. Well, I think we're ready to start. We're going to get into our character mode and the game. All right. And now imagine that we have all materialized or woken up in this space. Hello? Who are you all, and where am I?
That's a really good question.
I'd tell you if I knew, but I don't.
This has the same vibe of the place I was at. I don't know.
You were in my father's tavern?
This isn't your father's tavern. This is the tavern down in Mistlands.
No one around here calls them taverns, but this is a bar.
It's
I
a
don't.
bar.
A saloon?
Of sorts.
Who calls it a tavern?
I think you all are mistaken. This is the great hall of Valhalla for our Lord Odin.
Oh boy.
Well, I've heard of him before. I think that could have been the guy down the street, though.
So I'm gonna step out of character for a second. I think it also would help if we describe what our characters look like.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair,
Yep.
is not included in the gameplay notes. So we're gonna reverse a little bit. I can start. You see before you a female human. She has short red hair. She seems to be about in her 30s. Maybe a little older. She definitely has some wrinkle lines on the side of her eyes. That could mean she's approaching her 40s, maybe 50. I don't know. She's fairly pretty. But just in a flowing purple top with bell sleeves and a bodice, and it looks as if the bodice and the skirt she's wearing have a couple stains on them. She's got a little apron around her waist, but otherwise she's got a couple of baubles in her hair. Whoever wants to go next.
Okay, I guess I'll go. You see 5'9", not that tall, short king. Long black beard, hair kind of tied up behind his head. These very intricate tattoos across his face. He's wearing it's a very well crafted shirt, but it looks like it's trying to take a lot of elements from like historical elements to it. Around his waist, he's almost like metal plates that, again, they look like they're taking inspiration from a time long past, but they're very much a modern, almost futuristic aesthetic. You see little bits of LED spread throughout them that kind of glow beneath the panels. On both of his forearms, there's these metal bracers that, again, they have this glow beneath each panel. And he's got like this low cut V shirt that has these strings that kind of tie across the front of it. This like it's cream colored, the color of his shirt, with these dark like brown pants. And again, futuristic boots that look like they're pulling from a time long past.
Interesting.
Annabelle is probably standing behind what the bar would be drying glasses. She stands probably with her heels around 5'9", 5'10". It definitely gives, just for vibes, like late 20s, early 1930s. She has suspenders on. She's wearing trousers still. Heeled boots laced up. Hair pulled back. And yeah, she's standing and she's just drying a glass, kind of watching all of you like, why are you here?
You see a salt and pepper haired satyr who's got like her legs are starting to go a little salt and pepper. You can tell that she's well adventured. She has, just a comfy camisole type top on, leather wrappings around her leggings, and then just like here and there in her mane and around her horns, just pretty flowers. Every once in a while, she'll find one and just be like, whoop, this is pretty. I like this. And she's just wondering how everyone got to this her favorite cafe, because you don't look like the normal people that should be there.
There is an auburn-haired, human-looking woman in what you would say is like the stereotypical saloon girl outfit. It's bright red, and she wears like a black shawl over her shoulders. Her eyes are just a little too blue, and her skin is just a little too perfect. And she is scanning all of you, thinking that you do not look like the normal clientele of her saloon.
All right, I'm ready to step back in. Thank you. Well, I mean, the last thing I remember is explosions, fire. Someone I think was attacking the tavern. I've never seen any of you before.
I'd remember if I'd seen any of you.
You're all unfamiliar, but I remember fire before I was here.
Mm-hmm. I remember sitting in front of the fire.
Well, it would seem that fire is the thing that brings us all together.
Well, should we go in? Kind of hungry.
Sure. I
Lily just opens the door for everybody.
I don't get the feeling that any of us are supposed to be working. So that's nice.
Wait, did you all work at a tavern too?
A saloon?
I owned one.
Wow.
You're fancy. I just worked.
Worked? No. Definitely in my heyday, I've racked up a few.
Frequented plenty, but never worked at.
My father owned a tavern that I don't think this is it, but it looks just like it. The Falling Leaf Inn. We would serve to anyone who came through our town, and I would work there. That's what I did for the majority of my life.
I think I remember that place. It was the place with the snail seats, right?
Yeah, right outside the Thimblewood Grove. You've been?
I'm sorry, we started a bar fight there once.
I probably helped settle that fight, depending on how long ago it was.
Oh, it was quite a while ago. I'm a bit up there in the age.
Maybe it was my father.
Red-haired man, real tall, big beard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. There was a mean right hook.
What a small world.
What world exactly? What planet? Solar system? Country?
It's real.
State?
Do you know that wrong?
Am I lost? What?
There's just the one.
Well, there's many.
Plenty of
Oh,
planets out there.
sweetheart. Bless your heart. How many worlds do you think there are?
I mean, hundreds as far as I know.
No, even more.
Probably. Though
I think it looks like we broke her. You all right?
It's just Earth.
Midgard,
It's
just
Earth.
one of the many.
It's always
don't know what
humans
Earth
that
is.
think it's just one.
I think you've all had enough to drink for the night.
Not until we're unconscious, that's for sure. Shall we enter?
Oh,
We're already inside.
That's what I said.
You're somehow magically
The
transported to,
great halls.
to a table.
we materialized.
We materialized at a table.
There's
So
no
I have
one
an
else.
out of character question.
Mhm.
When do we draw cards?
When we feel like we're ready to,
Okay.
when we feel like we've been introduced.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I was just looking back at the notes, the gameplay rules. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna kind of lean down on the counter of whatever table's in front of us and look towards Lily. So, I didn't think your kind was able to enter Valhalla.
My kind?
The
Valhalla?
satyrs.
Well, we. Apparently we can because I'm here.
Well,
She just like perks up and looks like super happy with herself.
welcome. I'm glad you could join us in Odin's Hall.
What's
I still
Valhalla?
think Odin's that like little gnome guy from down the lane. I think that's what his name.
I think he's a really old god. Like small world god.
Odin
Right.
has traversed the stars, rules all of the 9 realms. Midgard could not contain him, and he has spread across the galaxy.
Right.
Okay then. Whatever
He
floats
sounds
your
like a really
fancy.
nice guy. I
Well,
guess.
you dine at his table.
No.
So we're all seeing different things, right? We're all just
You-
going to accept that.
You don't see these large tables bask in this glorious longhouse where we can all drink and enjoy each other's company once more in final battle?
I see a nearly perfect recreation of Shay's Starlights, which is the saloon that I was commissioned for.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, and
I don't
I'm
think I've
seeing
been there.
Falling Leaf Inn. Except no one else is here but us.
This just looks like the speakeasy after close. Underground, dark.
You've all disappointed me greatly.
We
I
didn't
feel
make
like-
it, did we?
Disappointment's not quite the emotion you should be feeling right now.
I don't think you know me well enough for me to have disappointed you.
You're here.
Give me some time first.
You came in at this table. I felt a kindred spirit in the moment, and now it's gone. I don't know. I'm learning a lot of things in this moment.
All right.
I feel
I'm
like
confused.
this place would feel more like what I'm used to if there is a chair flying around.
I just
You
pick up a
can
chair and
throw
swing it
one.
across the
Broken.
hall.
Oh,
Oh, see, now it feels right.
Maybe we don't break any furniture.
maybe we just take a step back. My
Just trying to be,
name.
cordial.
Yeah, my name's Mariana Eleanor Jensen. Mary Ellen. Model MEJ. and
Model?
you. Yeah, that's why I'm so pretty. No, what your names, jurisdictions,
Lily
species?
just like sticks her hand in front of your face and is like,
Oh,
"Hi, I'm Lily Softstep."
hello, pleasure.
Jurisdictions?
Sure, if you want, or just your name, Miss One World.
It's just here. I don't know what to tell you. But I am Annabelle Claire Adams of Earth, the one.
right. Wow, that's a jurisdiction if I've ever heard one.
And I'm Avelina Northwood from Thimblewood Grove.
Auric, Storm Rider of the Tier Crusade.
Eric. Got it.
I don't think you said Eric, but all right.
Auric. What did I say?
So we're here. Anybody know why?
Can't help but think. I don't know about you all, but I can't help but think that I didn't make it.
I don't know. It's really hard to tell. Feywild magic's a little tricky, and this is not the first time I've ended up somewhere where I probably shouldn't have been.
I just might need a reboot.
Those are a lot of real strange words coming out of your mouths. Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I've just never met someone who didn't understand magic or other worlds or anything like that.
There's
What?
no magic unless you're pulling quarters from behind someone's ears.
Lily pulls a little flower teacup from behind your ear. Like that? Magic.
All right.
That's a new one. Okay then. Yep. Did you just eat the teacup?
That happened. All right. So you think we're dead?
That's the last thing I remember was
I mean,
our tavern was under attack, and
was
then
not
I'm
me.
here. No, it was a lot worse than the usual bar fight. And I have no other explanation other than I don't do magic. I've been around people who do magic, but it's not. I've never had it, so it wasn't me.
I'm inclined to believe you. She like lifts up her leg. She's like, "You see this?" Like moving her hoof back and forth. She's like, "I haven't been able to do this in years."
All right. Anybody else remember circumstances in which they might have found themselves here?
I'm just thinking I inhaled too much smoke, and this is just...
A dream?
Last thing I remember was them setting the speakeasy on fire. This isn't...
My tavern
Seems like a
as
lot of
well.
fire. I don't remember any fire, but
I'm just gonna reach my hand out to Annabelle and just put a small electric shock into her forearm. Do you
What?
feel you're still dreaming?
Excuse you?
Do you
What?
feel like you're still dreaming?
maybe we don't immediately go to violence.
I was trying to be polite. I did.
You're
Okay, if you don't drag your feet when you walk, you won't like static discharge on people. But also, poking is rude.
okay.
I mean,
well,
I wasn't
sweetheart,
dragging. I
that
can do it
is
again.
that's not what's happening.
No.
So, magic, science for me more, and we're still on the one world thing. We also on a one god thing.
That's up for debate, honestly.
All right. Well, we're getting
Oh,
somewhere.
we can hang out then.
Arik, what about you? Do you remember anything?
My glorious passage into the other realm. How I wound up in Odin's Great Hall. No, I don't remember at all.
That was a lot of setup for nothing.
I feel like I want to make a joke here, but I'll refrain.
Where do you think we are, Arik?
The great halls of Odin in Valhalla.
What is Valhalla?
The afterlife. The gateway where we may all join him in the afterworld.
You said it. Keyword. Ding, 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 ding.
I've sought this place my entire life. I'm sorry. This is the
How'd
best.
you get here?
I'd imagine if it's the afterlife, he'd had to have died to
Yeah.
get here,
Probably.
right?
I outright ask how someone died. That's just rude.
I didn't ask how. I just,
They don't understand
Is
our
it
ways,
that-
fake creature. It's fine.
So you're saying it's just a waiting room?
How dare you? It's a glorious hall.
I mean,
Look around.
I don't think I'm going to Valhalla.
And
I
die
don't,
in battle.
I don't know where I'll go.
Yeah.
This is all I've ever known. So,
I hope I get to join the rest of my adventuring party. I miss them so much.
You
they're
You
they
were-
already passed?
Oh, they've been passed for many years.
Oh,
you were an adventurer?
Many great adventures.
Huzzah!
She holds up another flower cup.
I
Can we
remember
get
the
drinks here?
type.
I
Don't
can
see
whip
why
up anything you
not.
want.
Flower cup?
Do you want something in the flower?
As you if someone takes it, the flower cup actually fills up with a tiny amount of liquid. Call this hummingbird nectar where I'm from. One drink is all you need.
Never heard of that type of liquor before. Is it
Well, it's
small
special.
batch? Special.
Yeah.
Well, most are now, so
When's now for you?
1931.
Okay. We're just a little bit separated. That's all.
Where are you from?
It'll be hundreds of years before your people try and make it really out to the stars.
No one's going to the stars. That's ridiculous.
They are. They did. They are currently.
Sounds amazing.
I
What realm do you
suppose.
hail from, Mary Ellen?
Sarah 17. It's the
Ah,
planet. Yeah. I work at Shay's Starlights.
mm.
We are the best saloon this side of the Milky Way. Although
we
I've never
conquered
really
you yet?
understood which side. No.
Mm,
No, sweetie.
I forget. Time. The Tear Crusade happens and it spreads all over, but we'll get to you eventually, I'm sure.
Well, we's a little liberal term because I think we are done, but
I
All right. They might. We might be done.
When are you from, Eric?
The year 37,495. In Midgard terms.
Okay.
All of this is like another language to me. But seeing the stars does sound wonderful. Like exploring
It
the
is.
stars.
Quite nice to travel along the branches of Yggdrasil.
Yep.
Yeah, most of us just call it the Milky Way. It's all right. You don't have to. Different languages, different strokes, different folks. You can just
Can
call it
you
what you
get
want.
milk from the Milky Way?
No.
Which is why it's a
sweetie.
stupid name for it.
No, you can't.
It's a rather misleading name.
I know. Yeah, his makes a lot more sense. No, it's sarcasm. I did get that
It
chip
does.
installed a while back. All right.
Sorry, chip installed got me.
Are we ready to move to the cards?
Sure.
Yeah, bring on the cards.
All right. So the game doesn't say how we choose which person goes first. But I did like the die roll idea if y'all want to do rollies. Yeah.
Oh no.
I've got a d20, so yeah. All right.
I'm really proud of all of us.
Yeah.
We're not playing a D20 rolling system right now. We all just
all
add a
have
D20.
candy.
I rolled a 12.
I also got a
18.
12.
I got a 2.
9.
All right. It looks like Eric goes first.
It's Auric, first off.
All right.
Auric.
No,
All
it's
right.
Guarantee none of us do that right.
I am going to mispronounce it at least twice.
We just
I'll do it on
everyone's
purpose.
name's wrong.
And then we'll go in order of the screens on the stream. So then it'll be Lily, Annabelle, Avelina, and Mary Ellen.
All right, so what, I draw a card and just put it in the center?
Yep. You just click the card. 7. So you got rejection and foe. So your character recalls a rejection with a foe.
And a rejection. What does that mean?
You get to decide.
Is it a romantic rejection?
Clearly
Is
it's
it
gonna-
a...
now it's
I
definitely gonna be a
immediately went
romantic rejection.
scorned lover.
This is lovers to enemies. Yes.
Yeah.
It's the only way I can take this now. So I just start going into a memory? Is that it?
Yeah, and we can ask questions and like, oh wait, if we think of something that we have a connection to.
So, now that we've all settled in, shall I recount the great tales of my past?
Is that
I
what we're
could-
doing?
I can see the interest in all of your eyes as we sit around this table,
Sure.
just
Does
begging
it
to know
involve
more
seeing the
about my
sky?
great life.
Yes.
I think that's an exaggeration, but okay.
I'm just gonna
Fey
keep
one.
drinking.
Trust me. This will
Mhm.
this will be a tale that you can tell your children that you will never have.
I've had many.
Presumptuous.
I mean, she's dead.
True,
It's
but
clearly-
presumptuous.
Maybe in your next life, this tale will come back to you in a vision, and you can recount the glorious tales of me.
We call them fever dreams.
Whatever. I mean, it's who knows.
Sorry.
There I was, setting sail on the great ship Radagaskar as we set out to conquer the next planet in the great name of Tyr. When, as we sought to subjugate another planet, we found that a group called the Syndicate had taken refuge there. horrible worshippers of the god Loki who sought only to ensow chaos amongst the populace. Ensue. I know words. English isn't my first language. So, there I was as I burned my way through countless worshippers, seeking to root out this corruption amongst the populace. And as I cast Thor's power through my own fingers against each one of them, there stood one. His hair long and silken, his face clean shaven, a embodiment of Loki himself. And he
Continue.
We all started paying attention, sweetie. You can keep going.
I saw the magic behind his eyes and the glory that could be had with him. And I fell sway to it.
Wouldn't we all?
It was in that moment I hesitated and he tricked me, deceived me with his beauty. And he banished me out from the planet's surface, back to my ship. And by the time I was able to recuperate and make my way back to the surface, he was gone. But this wouldn't be the last time I saw him amongst my journey. The subjugation of the stars. But I never forgot his face, nor would I. It's the end of my story. That's all you get for now. There's more to come, don't worry.
Did you? What?
Yeah, did you all ever talk?
Eventually, yes. Not in this moment, though.
Yeah.
It's all about, like, kind of leading it on. It's a story. We're going to build this tale over time, are we not?
Right.
Okay.
So
Sure.
finding out that he was hot was just the
That was
beginning
it. That
to
did it
get
for me.
hooked
It's enough
in.
to stall me
it.
for that moment.
Really? Mm.
Yeah, I mean, the floor seems really wet now all of a sudden, so I think you should all calm down a bit.
Physically not a thing I do.
Excuse
but
me,
all right.
sir. I'm a little too old for that.
Annabelle doesn't look like she's unhappy about that.
It
Why are you
happens with
attacking?
floors sometimes. It's fine.
It happens. I get it.
No, I understand. Things happen when you're out adventuring.
Sometimes you just see the one.
Oh, the
No, I
one.
understand that.
The fates, they
Oh,
weave
is this person?
strange tales.
Why were you attacking those people in the first place?
What people? Who did I talk to?
The people you were attacking. You said you were bringing fire. And
Yes, we are
destruction.
subjugating the universe for
Why?
the gods.
That's just rude.
Crusades
sound like a very good
historically tend to be pretty one-sided and negative.
Depends on the side you're on.
Which is why history is written by the victor, unfortunately.
Nailed it first
Um,
try.
There are crusaders in your time too, Annabelle, or there were.
Yeah, we learn about them in history class. We're
you
more
know-
focused on freedoms where I'm from, though, so not so much
Yeah.
subjugation. We kind of fought a whole war to get rid of that.
This is like a whole roundabout way of saying, like, don't learn from history, doomed to repeat it.
Yep, that's what they said
Right.
before we.
Mm-hmm.
Just feel like adventurers. Would you call yourself an adventurer?
I mean, obviously, I'm a great hero of history.
Heroes. That word. That word.
You're not in my history book.
Yeah, I've never
It's
heard of
'cause-
you.
That's something after you. You'll get there. Don't worry.
Anyone else realize that time here is just weird?
It's a
Well,
weird soup.
I figured that out when we did the one planet, one god. So, yeah.
No, I just figured the time of night was because of daylight savings, so
I don't know.
What's
what that is.
daylight savings time?
That goes away eventually. We figure out it doesn't make sense. It's okay. It's all right. It goes away.
Okay, I think I will draw a card.
Mhm.
Okay. Sorry, that was so high pitched and squeaky. Ooh, I got a Queen of Hearts.
So your character recalls Hope with a family member.
Aw. Well, you know, your love story reminds me of this one time we were out and adventuring and then well, I realized that I couldn't adventure anymore because it was dangerous to my firstborn child.
You
Well, yeah, I have a pretty big family. Like I said, I adventured a lot. But yeah, it was lovely. They were actually with me before I ended up here.
That's
We
nice.
just- Yeah, we were reminiscent about old times, how he used to run around and play the good hero, and I would be the big bad monster, and I would chase him around, and he would come at me with his magic wand that was really just kind of a stick with some fairy dust glued on it. But he tried so hard to be a wizard like his daddy. That just didn't work. He didn't get that. He did blossom into a really proficient thief. I was very proud of him. Quite good at what he did. He also took down a monarchy at one point. I called in a favor to have him hidden in a different realm for a while.
Right.
I didn't want the king to kill him. You know, when you
Right.
steal magical artifacts, it's just kind of a thing that happens, apparently. I told him not to, but there's only so much a mother can do.
I suppose. I've got no experience in that.
Yeah.
No
I never
children?
had kids.
No kids?
No.
Well, I've got 5.
You're so lucky.
You had enough for all of us. There we go.
sounds loud.
It does.
It was all at different times, and a lot of the time they would want to go off and do their own thing. So then I got quiet for a while.
I mean, I
was
have
your-
countless children. I just don't know any of their names, so it's hard to relate.
I can see that.
What was your son's name?
Anthony.
Oh.
There was Anthony, Taz, Lilabella.
It's 2 more. Are there? We gonna get to know
Well,
the 2 other
I
ones?
didn't know if you wanted their names or not. You
Ah.
all just kind of looked at me like,
Expectantly,
I was
I looked
waiting.
at you expectantly.
Yeah. Correct.
oh, sorry.
That's what this
Never.
is.
Sometimes human looks all the same. So it's hard to tell.
It feels slightly speciest, but we'll just move on.
I'm not even gonna bother.
I mean, you're not a human, so what would you know?
I don't know.
It's true.
I don't know. Humans are funny. I like them.
They are.
I have a half human child.
I don't feel like I'm that funny, but
He's the youngest.
They gotta be funny. I think it's just a thing.
As in, he's a comedian? Yeah, he's a jester for the king. For one of the kings.
Took that to
He's the only-
professional level.
He's the only one who's allowed to mock the king. It's actually a pretty cool role. Although I've heard what he says behind the king's back, and it's not so great. Like, he
And you
tried to
said,
convince the king to wear invisible clothing once.
Oh no.
Spent the whole day naked. Hilarious.
Sounds just freeing, to be
mean-
honest.
If he fell for it, then I suppose just kind of his own fault.
Or he
You said
fell
your-
for
your-
it. 'Cause, I mean, let's be honest.
You said your son's father was a wizard?
Uh-huh. My first one.
Oh.
Yeah, Balthazar the Wizard. He was kind of a loner, and we kind of we convinced him to join our merry band of miscreants.
Was that the official
Yeah.
name?
No.
Solid
just
name.
Which one? I just
That
wanted,
was
it
just the
sounded
name
like it
that was
was.
on the poster that said wanted.
Oh,
Oh.
so like
So it's
semi-official,
Yeah.
I guess.
just not co-signed.
Yeah, no. We didn't
Got
call
it.
ourselves that. We just got called that. Yeah. Afterwards, Balthazar came back and lived with me for a couple years, and we raised our son as best we could. And then, well, communication problems happened, and he wanted to not be there. And I am the kind of creature that said, "That's okay, you can go. I'll still be happy."
Were you happy, though?
I was.
Well, that's good then.
I have a small little house just outside the town that I grew up in, and we helped out every day, and I helped with the school kids. It was a really nice place. There wasn't a lot to not make you happy. What about all of you? Were you happy where you lived?
Some days. There were good days. There were bad days.
I was content. I think there's much more you can ask for.
I think I was about as happy as I knew how to be.
Did you get a chip for that?
Yeah. That one was like main model though. So
I don't know what that means, but okay.
yeah. I didn't figure you did.
Maybe they gather us here in this place, so that we can have a couple laughs before we have to go to our actual place. And if that's the case, I kind of like it. It's nice meeting everybody.
I could use a couple laughs. Annabelle, I think you're next.
Tries to juggle things that they just kind of fall.
I can be surprised with a foe.
A foe.
A surprise with a foe.
1920s foe.
Is it a cop? Sorry.
Wow. That was a revealing PC moment.
Well, it's not anymore. Talking about adventuring. I really, one of the few adventures I think I would consider it an adventure probably was making sure to get Lewis Evanston arrested and his speakeasy shut down. It was the only other large speakeasy like mine. And so a whole group of us decided to, take some liquor, leave some tips, pay some people, and, his entire operation kind of just got taken in. They had to pay a large fine. They were in jail for like 90 days. It was honestly one of the best surprises I could have given him on Christmas morning.
Little Miss One World isn't as nice as she thought.
Well, I never claimed to be nice, so no one can be disappointed.
It's true. I'm not disappointed.
Your ruthlessness
What'd he do
is
to you?
admirable.
Thank you. What
What'd that man ever do to you?
Oh,
Just competition?
So right now, you can't really have any liquor at all. No bars, no fun. And so a handful of us started running liquor underground, and he threatened some of the people I work with, and 2 large businesses vying for top profit. And also, I just didn't like the man. He's kind of weaselly.
That's cold, Annabelle.
Deserved.
I've been hired to take out people before, like rival business owners. So
See?
it happens.
Normal.
Totally normal.
No, I think those are 2 different kinds of taken out. Hold on. Nope. That felt like 2 different things you just said.
No, what do you mean? He's taken off the market. He can't sell anymore. He'll always be under suspicion, even if he gets out.
I don't think that's what she meant.
Me? Oh, no, I wouldn't kill anyone. God, that's horrible. Why would you think that?
Why
I
not?
don't know. You said adventure?
You guys be
Yeah.
killing people?
Of course.
What? No, only once, twice,
I
a
never
couple
have.
times.
What do you
They all
consider
deserved it.
people? What do we...
Living, thinking, breathing.
Those are all very different things. I'm going to be real with you, sweetie. Those are all different things. I'm not breathing right now.
Yes, none of
we're all
us are.
dead.
Am I breathing?
Like,
I feel like I'm
I'm-
breathing.
I mean, even when I would have had to breathe, I didn't have to breathe. Because I think we've all established that we're all dead and not breathing now.
Right.
But
so wait, how, if you were dead and not, if you were alive and not breathing, how were you alive?
I just don't
Like,
have to breathe.
coax you.
I just don't have to breathe. I think you're poking her, and she makes a point of like clicking something towards the back of her neck, and like a like part of her neck just pulling away, like to show the machine underneath, and then she puts it back. Yeah, I thought that was gonna get her. Everybody but him, huh?
I'm gonna. She just like sits back and starts sipping tea.
You shouldn't poke things you don't know.
Understand.
All right. Well, I would consider every one of us a little bit weird, but everybody is reserved to their judgments.
I feel like out of everyone here, I've been the most normal.
I
Sure,
think
sweetie.
that's up for debate, Lightning Finger.
Yeah.
These are gifts.
Wow.
There's something.
Mm-hmm.
What was he still arrested when you got here? How long ago did that happen?
You know, that's a 50-50 answer there. He'd be coming right up on his release date, but
Is he the reason that you're here?
He might be.
She like pulls out a toothpick, like I'm gonna do something about it.
just a toothpick.
Did you make
toothpick.
bad blood with the wrong person?
You know, I don't think he's man enough to light my bar on fire, but I guess I can't rule that out.
Again, I've been hired to do it. So there's nothing saying that he hasn't hired
Like I
someone.
said, handling people, different intonations, different things. You two meant different things.
I think this is one of those things where we actually understood each other. This is
I
the first
thought we
time
were
I
on the
feel like
same
we've
page.
connected.
We're just talking like arson for hire,
Yeah.
which
Oh boy.
isn't
Not this
unheard
one.
of.
It's what
At all.
adventurers do, right?
Just arson. That's
Well,
And killing.
and
killing,
killing. All right.
stealing, taking down tyrannical dictators.
See that I
Innocent
could be on
people.
board with.
We could subjugate the planet in the name of the God Emperor.
Not that.
No. I feel like we're
There's-
from different universes.
I don't.
I
feel like
would
it's the same.
assume so.
I'm gonna draw my card.
Draw the card.
I got a deception with a friend.
Ooh.
Ooh.
You know, I've met many adventurers working at the Falling Leaf Inn. Even when I was younger, I wanted to be an adventurer myself. I would see them pass through our doors, and I couldn't help but wonder what they would see on their travels, all the new faces, all of the excitement and beauty they would see exploring the world. There was another girl who was a friend of mine in the town. Her name was Seraphine, and we were best friends. We grew up together. She was the blacksmith's daughter, and I was the tavern keeper's daughter. And it was a small town, and there wasn't much to do. So we would play, just like Lily, you mentioned your son would play wizards. We would do with branches, and I liked to pretend to be a druid. I thought their ability to turn into animals was so cool. And we thought we would constantly just look and see the people passing through our town and wish that we could be them. But being that our town was so close to the town of Silvercrest, the city of Silvercrest, the capital in our area, we would get adventurers pass through, but also bandits and bad people. But growing up with Seraphine, we saw the damage that people could do to the town, and we made a promise to each other that we would always stay friends. We would always stay in touch. We would always be there for each other, even as we were growing up and experiencing our own lives. And then one day there was a notice on the board in front of the city hall, the town hall, and it was recruiting adventurers. But my mother was sick, and my father needed help running the Falling Leaf. And so I didn't go and try. I didn't have any skills anyways. Magic never came to me. I wasn't very nimble or quick or strong. But Seraphine, she was fast. She decided to go and apply And I rooted her on, and I was so happy for her when she got the news that she was going to be hired as an adventurer, and she shipped off to Silvercrest. She promised me that she would stay in touch, that she would send me letters all the time, and that she would come home and tell me about all of her adventures and all of the wonderful people she met. And she did for a bit. She did for about a year, and then the letters became less frequent. I would send her letters where she told me she would be, and I wouldn't get anything in return. So ultimately, I hadn't seen her in a good 10, 12 years. I hope she's still alive. I hope she's still out there doing what adventurers do, but I'm not sure. She stopped. She forgot about me. I was left at home at the tavern.
Lily, may I give you a hug?
Sure. Even if you're an
Do a
adventurer.
really big hug. But I still wrote my friends. That's just mean.
Do you think she died?
Yeah, I was gonna say there's also the less desirable alternative.
Yeah, maybe I'll see her again in here.
What was her name again?
Seraphine.
Seraphine, you in here? I don't hear any response. Maybe she's not.
Yeah. I have a feeling she just forgot about us. They all do. We're just the little people. We're collateral damage, you know.
Lily, like, at that comment, Lily just really stares off into the distance, like, did I do that? Was I one of those people that didn't think about the collateral damage? Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap.
I'd argue that for about as many that come in and cause problems, there are a few more that are better than that. At least from what I can see with my patrons. But, you know, different worlds, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, your turn, Maria.
Okay, cool. What is that?
Joy with a friend.
Like I said, I think there's good ones. You know, I suppose I'm a little different than most of you from the reaction I got earlier. You know, not everybody treats everybody nice. Especially wait staff, serving staff, people like us.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of people that do. I had my favorites. There's a broad-shouldered man that came in all the time. His name's Reese. Now, you sweet Miss One World, you're missing out. There's some beautiful creatures to find. You ever seen a man with 4 arms?
Here?
You ever seen a man with 4 arms?
No.
Tell you what.
I am intrigued.
I haven't, but I'm very intrigued.
I'll tell you what, they'll defend and look good doing it. Reese was sweet boy, but I watched him grow up. You know, that's one of the preferences, one of the things that I get to enjoy with who I am and what I am, as I am. You get to watch people be who they are. And I got to watch Reese grow up, defend the town that we lived in, fall in love, have kids. You know, and he's one of the good ones. And you can't hold yourself hostage thinking about the bad ones. You know? You gotta let it go. At least that's what I've learned. Because otherwise you're just sitting sad. That was another chip I got in, honey. Sad too.
Just to
Got the
feel
full
sad.
range of emotion.
I wouldn't want to feel sad.
You can't really
that
appreciate
chip.
joy if you've never had a moment of sadness. If every part of our lives is an up note, then how do we appreciate it? If you're never sad, how are you ever happy?
I don't know. I can be real happy.
I believe it. I do.
Sadness and pain shape a person. Happiness and joy make them whole.
And that's some fancy words.
From Miss One World.
Yeah. You said it, not me.
To be fair, we were all kind of thinking it.
Yeah. Yeah. I like nicknames. I got that.
Look at that.
What was your nickname, Robot?
Not that. I'm an android.
Electronic entity.
Correct.
What's the
Yeah.
difference? Also, what's an android and what's a robot?
It. I. mm,
So like
more.
an automaton?
Yeah, a little bit. More that a robot would be similar to that. It's an aspect of personality, and if you want to get into religion, a soul. Robots don't really, that whole living, breathing, thinking thing. Robots don't necessarily think for themselves, or have much of an option to do so. So
So which
I
out of
suppose
those
that
three
might
do
be it.
you do?
I think, and I feel, and I would be living if I had to guess.
Well, one of those.
But I do
wasn't
not
on the
breathe.
list.
I don't
One of
breathe.
those wasn't on the list, and you said 3 things.
I don't breathe.
I'm gonna give it to her. I would say you're no different.
I don't breathe.
What do you know?
I'll say I want to take you to the Feywild and introduce you to everyone because everyone there would think you're pretty magical. It's pretty cool not having to breathe.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have. Mary Ellen is the nickname. It's Mariana Eleanor, or MEJ is the model number. So
Okay.
MJ. Either one. Lots of nicknames, I suppose.
All the nicknames.
I think before we jump into the next memory, I think that's actually a good point to take a quick break. So if we want to come back at, what do we want? A 5-minute, 8-minute?
A little fiver.
break?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll come back at, for me, the time is, let's say, 7:27.
Okay.
We'll convert that to your whoever's. Great. All right. Thank you for staying tuned with us. We'll be back shortly in 5 minutes. All right. Welcome back to GoodBerry Cafe. Tonight we are playing a game called A Diner at the End, and we are in the middle of our meeting at the diner with all of our characters' experience. So we're going to jump right in with, I believe, Eric. Did I get it right that time?
Auric.
Auric? No, why do I keep thinking it's Eric?
Well, I purposely had my character
think
say it wrong, so
I think
I
that's stuck in
started
my
it.
head. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
All right.
You're like, that might have been me.
Just blame the human. It's fine.
So you pulled a rejection with a family member.
Didn't you get rejection last time?
Damn. Well, this is perfect because we get more of this story.
Oh yeah.
Yes, continue.
I want more of this love story with this beautiful god.
All right. So, back to me, the most important person in the room.
Oh, here we are.
Him.
All right.
It's to be debated.
So, as we continued on our subjugation of the planet, having been banished from the surface after seeing him, I spoke to both of my mothers and asked them, tried to ask them to help me seek out what the fates might have in store for me. And as we sat there in the incense and the smoke, looking through into the future of what the gods had in store for us, they saw something that I just couldn't accept. They saw me settling down and finding love out there with someone who would bear me many children. More for the crusade, more that could carry on this wonderful crusade again across the galaxy. We had already destroyed all the androids. I don't know how you're even here. It's very confusing to me.
You ever heard about Earth roaches?
That
We
would make
persist.
sense that what your people are like. Just
We
show up
persist.
every once in a while.
Roach,
true.
You can't kill a roach.
Back to my
No.
story. It's important.
Right. We have to get to the childbearing.
No, I just think that's me.
So, as they revealed this path that they saw for me, I just couldn't accept it, and that's when I used the Rainbow Bridge to return back to the surface and try and find this syndicate member that had stolen my heart and my eyes. So I began to carve another path and leaving behind all my family and all of the people that I'd come there with, and I tried to find him, and eventually I was able to. And that's how I got this scar, and I just kind of pull down my shirt and show this big burn mark on my chest. Needless to say, it didn't go well at first.
I was gonna say, take me back a second. You rejected your family and your fate for a man you had not talked to.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure I was there.
Yep.
We're good?
On
All
the
right.
same page.
He was that hot.
You-
Okay.
let me tell you.
All right.
His pants were so tight that there was an outline that I just could not ignore.
She's from 1920. You calm down.
His pleats, what they called it back in the day? The pantaloons?
No.
I don't know.
No. Still
I
pants.
fallen for many of people like that. It's okay.
Just trousers and
Trousers. Whatever.
Those are
You know?
snakes.
you can sometimes
one
tell
eye
the
and
worth
it
of a
was-
man just by looking.
Oh,
It was a great serpent. Some would call it.
no,
No.
no, stop, Lord.
Needless to say, I saw the fates that day.
I've met the Fates. They're really nice. Until they're not.
I would agree with you. That's the way they weave.
I would argue that most people are nice until they're not. On principle,
All
It's
of
just
it.
default.
you know.
Yeah. No. But okay.
Why were you so against what your mothers wanted for you?
It's not what I want.
You must have lived a really hard life.
It was very hard. My life and his great serpent.
Nope.
Every time I think we're being serious, we're not.
Jormungandr made his presence known that day. The world serpent. So you are picking up what I'm putting down.
Not really.
Oh,
think you're talking
sweet
about
girl, it's all right. No. All right. Yep. The ones of us that know, and the ones of us that don't need to. I think
That's
that's where
really
it is.
sad to have passed away if you don't know what that is, though.
Lily, don't say it like that.
If
We
you haven't
can't go
experienced
back.
the world serpent,
Don't
it is truly a
make them
shame.
feel bad. Some people, hey, listen. Some people don't like a serpent. All right, let's put that there
me
first.
not. I've been
Fair.
with plenty of the women's too. It's okay.
Sometimes the world serpent is artificial. It's fine. It's this.
How you doing, Miss One World?
It's a whole new world.
You know, my William was known to have a really great serpent too, so I'm with you there. You know, sometimes that's just it makes or breaks the whole deal.
Yes, makes life that much greater.
Lord.
I don't think the Lord is in this conversation.
Apparently Loki or somebody is.
He's a tricky god. He's a tricky dick, as they say.
I don't think anybody says.
I think my story's done. We'll move on to the next person.
Yeah, you want to draw a card?
Yeah. Okay, I'll draw a card. I got this. Drawing. That's a 9. Which is fear. Oh Lord.
Ooh.
Fear with a family member.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. Hmm. I think. Yeah, I kind of understand what you're saying. Whatever your name is, Viking guy,
Auric.
person,
It's fine.
Auric.
It's 4 letters, but I know it could be complicated.
It's very complicated. Sorry. I kind of get what you're saying. Having to like go against family members. It reminds me of this time. When I wanted to become an adventurer, my mom wasn't too keen on it either. When I told her, when I was a little girl, I think I was like 8 or 9, came in, and I came running home from school that day, told my mom I wanted to be an adventurer when I grew up, and Boy, howdy, I've never seen anyone get so angry before. Oh, it felt like the room got real big and real dark. Later on I found out that she was just using magic to scare me, but like I didn't know my mom could do magic at the time. She never talked to me about it. She never told me. So when this happened, I didn't understand why she was afraid of me being an adventurer either until I realized that like I could die. And that's what she was afraid of. The first time that she had to come visit me at the healer's hut after breaking both of my legs from falling off a cliff, I understood. I really understood why she was so afraid and tried to scare me out of it. Yeah, I'll never forget that day.
Did you stop adventuring?
Nope. Sometimes to be an adventurer, you have to be a little bit of a rebel. You have to be willing to go against the grain. You have to be willing to stand up for what you believe in. And I mean, I did. I wanted to be an adventurer, so I stood up for what I believed in. And then my legs got broken, and then I was at home for a good long while. It was my first time adventuring. I was like 14.
How did your
How
legs
did
break?
your mom?
I fell off a cliff.
How high was this cliff?
Well, okay, so I was climbing up some ruins that was just outside of our town. We were told never to go there. We were told never to explore there because it's really dangerous.
That's usually how that starts, yeah.
There was still booby trapped.
That's why there's usually rules
Yeah.
to avoid those sort of things.
Well, there's what you're told and then there's what you do.
Well, when you go against what you're told, bad things happen, clearly.
Not always.
Not always.
You've never
All
gone
right,
against
well-
the
Thank you, Miss
decrees.
One World.
Also,
You
I
are
will-
welcome.
I will say, it's a little bit hypocritical. You just told a story about not doing what your parents told you to do.
Yeah, see,
Let's
Yeah,
let's
Eric.
rewind for a moment, Arik. All right.
First off, when I do it, it's what the gods want.
I thought
Alright.
you just
I
specified.
I thought you
wasn't.
literally
What
said the fates
want
wanted
and what
it.
the gods want and what my parents want is different stories.
I think what your serpent wanted was the different story.
That's
And I-
possible.
I heard all great decisions were made by the great serpent. So
I disagree, but okay.
yeah. I guess the moral of the story is don't go against what your parents say because you'll get your legs broken. On
That
accident.
also did
It
happen.
was not on purpose.
I got to bypass that. I don't have parents.
I was gonna say sometimes ours is more like careful who you cross because they'll break your legs, but close enough.
I mean,
Also-
I've broken people's legs for money.
Also, the robot's legs can break from bad code, so I feel like that's...
Less likely than
Android.
you think. Thank you.
Be
And
nice.
less likely than you'd think.
And after you broke your legs, how did your mom feel?
My mom put bars on my windows.
Mm.
Or
How did you
like
keep you safe?
safe is a strong word. It felt like a cage. But it is what it is. We all make mistakes. I learned to not climb that high or to a jump that big.
Why were you jumping that high up?
Uh,
I
Well,
feel
you
like
see, I got
jumping in and of
this-
itself is fine.
I got these really crazy legs, and she like holds her legs up again and like kicks them. And I figured I could just, jump. really well. I thought that just came with the territory. I saw other kids doing it, and so I figured that I could do it. And I guess I couldn't do it.
So the saying of if you see other kids jumping off a cliff, what you did?
Just do it.
Okay.
No, I would argue that the life lesson is universal, and maybe she just didn't learn it. I
did become an adventurer.
Yeah.
Is jumping off cliffs a common thread between all of
In
you
adventures? I mean, it's not the last time I jumped off a cliff. I jumped off a cliff because I was being chased by a dragon once, and we had to jump into the water. So that was a good reason. But Balthazar was with me, and a bunch of my other friends were with me, and they told me as long as I keep myself straight and like I'll torpedo into the water and not hurt myself as much. So that's what I did.
I'm just gonna ignore the dragon's comment.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're handling this a lot better than I thought.
This has just been straight whiskey the entire time. It's not actually tea.
Good.
Yeah.
Anyone else have crazy experiences, or is it just me?
I don't think we have enough time for all the stories that could entail.
Well, no one wants to hear about your trouser snakes.
This is my last moments in this realm. I'm gonna reminisce on the good times.
Well,
that's
you
fair.
reminisce about trouser snakes. But I think fear is probably universal for most of us. We've all been afraid.
Have we all been afraid?
I know.
Did you get the fear chip?
I don't have.
If that was directed to me, I can feel fear for others. Yes.
Not for yourself?
Not often, no. That one's less useful.
Well, they keep you alive, though. Although I guess that's maybe a moot point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, sweetie, do you know where we are? I thought we established that.
I know. I feel like there's crossed messages here with you. We're here. It's a grand old time. I don't know. I think part of why I'm here is fear for my friends was greater than fear for my own life. The bar caught fire, and I was just trying to make sure everyone was getting out, and there was people unaccounted for, so I went back in. I was more afraid for them than me, I suppose, in the end.
That's what we call being a hero.
I would not qualify for that title, but I will say thank you nonetheless.
I mean, I don't think I qualify for it. People called me it before it, so just take it. Free title.
This might be mean to ask, but do you think you saved them?
I know I got a couple more out. I don't remember seeing anyone else, but it was very smoke-filled. It was dark. But I think everyone else got free.
Did you know them?
We had a lot of regulars, and a lot of my friends worked the bar. So I knew quite a few of the people there that night.
I think that probably qualifies as being a hero.
A good kind.
Good is a matter of opinion, but...
Well, apparently, in this place at the end of whatever it is that we're doing, our opinions are the ones that matter. So,
Suppose you might be right.
I'm sure
Cheers, Miss One World.
I'm sure your tale will be told amongst the generations.
Secretly, though, because prohibition is still a thing. For you, anyway.
Does that ever end?
Oh, honey, yeah, it's
Oh,
done.
thank God. We all thought they were ridiculous when they started it.
Everybody does for the rest of history think it's ridiculous.
Can't even imagine.
No booze?
It's just
Doesn't go well.
sad. It's sad. And honestly, it's real easy just to get around all of their laws, I'm not gonna lie.
And that mentality will continue to make problems for the human race for the foreseeable future, my love. That is so true.
It's a legacy worth leaving behind then.
I drew my card, but I think I'm going to draw a second one for inspiration. You talking about both of you talking about your regulars. Can't help but think about some of the regulars at our tavern. There was this one man. He was a local adventurer. He was what many called a hero. And he was passing through with his party, and they were called the Storm Chasers. And everybody knew about them, and everybody fawned over them. And I was still young, you know. I was in my late teens, early 20s. It had to be. I was working up at the tavern, and he came in with this party, and he was beautiful. He was so handsome, and we were definitely understaffed that day, so it was just me serving. And I came out from behind the bar to get their order, and he looked at me right in my eyes, and I remember turning bright red. I was so nervous to serve his table and his party. And I think I even messed up his order. But he was the last one there that night. It seemed like his party had long gone to bed upstairs at the inn, and he was lingering there. And I was too scared to talk to him, of course. But then he came back the next day. Still the last one at the bar. But then his party were moving on to the city, and he left, and I still didn't talk to him. But then I noticed that every time the Storm Chasers would come through, he would do the same thing. Until one day, I was feeling particularly brave, and I spoke with him. He told me that he couldn't wait. He was waiting for me to finally speak to him. His name was Roland Storm Sorrow, and he was the leader of that adventuring party. And I think we stayed up until the sunrise that night talking. He became a very, very good friend. And every time he would pass through, we would spend time together until friendship became a little more over time. But I remember feeling so excited every time I heard that the Storm Chasers were around or nearby. I loved that excitement. It's definitely one of the feelings that I'd like to keep with me. Yeah.
They sound like they traveled with Thor's blessing.
I don't know what that means, but maybe.
maybe more importantly, what happened
We
with
got
him?
married. Yeah.
Stop. All right.
She made that
You were
clear.
married.
I feel like we knew
Yeah.
that.
Married to an adventurer.
Mm-hmm.
I remember hearing about these people. It was right around the time that I retired from adventuring. I remember that vaguely.
He never did though. Retire, that is.
Oh. At some point, you gotta just hang up the cape.
I used to tell him that all the time.
Hmm. That's unfortunate.
I kind of want to live in or think of the times that were good, that excitement, you know?
That rush of always coming home, seeing
Yeah.
their face.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be insensitive. So if you don't want to answer, that's fine. But is he waiting on the other side of this, you think? Or is he still adventuring?
Last I heard, he's still out there on a mission. On a quest, sorry.
That's just rude
As I said,
on his part, not
adventures.
yours.
I mean, you leaving your mother behind, you could say the same thing.
Yes, but the difference being is I had to live a life, and I feel like if you're gonna settle down, you're done living your life, or at least
Not
that part of your
necessarily.
life. You're on to a new part of your life, which is a little more sedentary.
Only if
It's a
you let
different
yourself.
kind of adventure. But everyone's different, I guess. Which one of the storm chasers was it? Is he like the really tall one?
He was the leader, Roland Storm Sorrow. He was fairly tall. He's human, fighter, very brawny.
Wonder if there's some distant connection there.
You wish.
I mean, storm chasers,
Oof.
storm riders. Was storm? What was his last name again?
Sorrow, storm, sorrow.
That right, storm sorrow. I feel like it's all kind of one thing here. I feel like there's some sort of distant connection.
Well, if he ever had any children, it wasn't with me.
So,
Oh.
I love how everyone awkward exchanges glances. Just like,
Aye.
I don't know, like, I don't know.
well, anyways,
I can't say anything. I have many kids.
I was gonna say, I don't have family per se.
because you can't have kids, right?
Correct. And also because no one technically had me.
Because you're fake.
It's just
Inside
rude.
thought, Eric.
The point I'm trying to make is I'm curious. I mean, I made connections with people that were not blood related, obviously. I'm gonna beat you to it because I do not have blood.
Nailed it.
But I will say, I think that it's an important thing to remember that there are those connections you can make without having to have those familial ties. I had plenty. And Shay, who owned the saloon that I was in, who commissioned me, who put me there, they're the closest thing that I have to family, And I think that it's okay to worry about people when they're gone. But I also think there's an aspect of it that has to respect that people live their own lives. People go off, and I think that the hope is one day they come back. And if they don't, then maybe we meet them at the end of whatever this is, when the lights go black. Maybe. I don't know. I never had kids. Just watch the world grow up around me.
You're kind of onto something. I inevitably retired because my kids got really, really tired of seeing me come home in bandages or limping, or they were just worried, and I had to respect that. And I felt like, I was kind of already ready to, and seeing how distraught they were every time I'd come home was really heartbreaking.
And there's something to be said about having the strength to be the place that people come home to. It's a different kind of thing. But it's still brave, and it's still an adventure.
So I got a question. If we're all not alive,
we can just say dead. It's okay.
I was trying to be respectful. But if we're all dead, does anyone have any plans of haunting anybody?
I had not considered, but that seems like a.
Should we come up with a list of people that we could possibly haunt?
Well, here's the thing. I think for me,
group?
that's a logistic issue, because I feel like if I could go back and haunt, I'd just haunt my body. And at that point, I'm still sitting probably. So it's.
But I mean, once someone turns your body back on, then you're not dead anymore, right? It's like a light switch.
It's not exactly how that works.
I'm just worried about the logistics.
Right. You keep thinking about it.
It's going to haunt me for a long time.
And then I did it. And I've done it. And that's who I'm haunting.
I've spent so much of the past few years of my life in anger and in frustration and regret that I don't think I'd want to go back to haunt anyone. I feel like I wasted so much time feeling those negative feelings that maybe I'm ready for whatever is after this. I don't think I'd want to go back. Perpetuate more negativity.
Fair. Very reasonable.
There's nothing wrong with the end of a story.
Yeah.
Not every story needs an epilogue.
I lived a very full life. Body's very much ready. Now, sitting here with all
advances.
I feel very blessed that I got to, pass away around my family and loved ones, and happy-ish. I'm sure they're really sad now.
What about you, Annabelle? Would you want to haunt anyone?
You know, there's a few people that I have thoughts about potentially haunting, but I don't know. Maybe not so much haunting as just keeping an eye over. Kind of to what you said, there's something about being a safe haven for people. And if my husband manages to rebuild or fix up the bar, I guess I wouldn't mind being a shadow in the corner for a while.
Love that.
Pulls out a hanky. Such a good reason to want to haunt someone.
Don't get the wrong ideas. I still could just terrify people I don't like walking in, but you know.
It's true.
So,
We want to move on to the final scene here.
I
I feel
mean,
like that was a good
with-
point to move on to the final
Yeah.
you go
The
first?
acceptance of death.
Do we flip our do we flip our cards in front of each other, or do we drag them to where people can't see it? Does that matter?
I think I mean, the rules say you can choose to. You look at your face on card and decide if this memory is the last memory their character would carry with them to the end. If not, what might they think on? Either way, would they share that memory with the other characters or reminisce privately? With the last memory in mind, it's time for the characters to leave the diner. How do they feel? Is there apprehension, excitement? How would each player's character leave a place for the last time?
As this talking of haunting people, Annabelle, or not Annabelle, wow, sorry. Lily slips into kind of a deep silence where she just stares off into space, thinking about one of the most haunting experiences of her life against someone that she rightfully probably should have never fought against. And it's the one thing that caused her extreme trauma and would actively wake her up at night. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't want to bring down the mood anymore. But the 1,000-yard stare is there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mary Ellen stands up from the table, sort of slowly. And she is, everyone has talked about kind of where they think they were when they were dying. And I think that there is a point where she has been like avoiding accessing that memory. And I think she feels this like horrible spike of fear as she realizes that her technology finally can't hold up. And she is conscious the moment before they deactivate her, like before the decommissioning, before everything else. And I think that she thinks back to that last moment where she's looking above the saloon, like the bar, and there's a framed photo of Shay, who has passed years before this. And she closes her eyes and I think whispers to herself, the world makes progress. And then she disappears. and closes her eyes. She's the first one to leave.
Oh. Oh man. But I guess this is it then. I wanted to say how much that last thing that she said meant to me. I've been thinking on it since she said it, that you know, we can be being a safe haven for others is still important and makes us a hero. I used to think that I wasn't worth anything. I mean, being the wife of an adventurer, no one sees you, no one thinks about you. He comes home every now and then, but you're just expected to be there. I didn't have any skills. I saw all these special people, magical people pass through, and I just thought I wasn't worth as much. Like, how do you value a life lived? I always thought that their lives were worth more. I never considered myself a hero, but maybe I was doing something good. Maybe just being there for people to come to a safe haven, a safe place to sleep and rest their head, a warm meal, cold beverage, smiling faces. Maybe that was enough. I know we had countless people come through in our tavern every day. Maybe I was important too. She's just gonna sit there. Not leaving yet, but she's just gonna sit there, sort of moving her fingers on the bar table, as if she's drawing.
Lily just sort of fades into a soft mist, being the second to leave.
Yes, it's just us.
So, Arik is just gonna start to stand up from the table. You could see his eyes start to glass over as he starts to see something distant from the rest of you. In his mind, he sees waking up from the moment where he spent that night with the unnamed Loki. And he hears coming across a message that he wasn't meant to hear of the order to take down the person that was now in their room. And as he stands from the table, you see more armor pieces start to materialize on his chest. That same futuristic Viking style armor. In his hand you see materialize this long shaft with this red blade that kind of appears across the top of it, resembling this axe. You see him start to charge towards a light in front of him that kind of materializes in the space in front of all of you. You see, as he leaps forward, his body is kind of struck in the heart. with some unseen force, and you see his body twist and crumple around the pressure. And as his body turns and falls into the space, you see a large smile across his face as he disappears into the light, his body dissipating as it falls.
Annabelle kind of slowly stands, and she's probably looks to be just deep in thought, and kind of starts maybe gathering what glasses were left on the table, something that's so mundane to her, and kind of walks back behind the bar and is just thinking of the last little bits of conversation about being a safe haven and all the adventures that everyone had had. And she thinks a bit about, you know, the good and the bad that she had shared of herself. And she thinks about probably her greatest adventure, her closest friend, her husband. I think there's a little bit of regret knowing she's leaving him, but there's also just a moment of peace knowing that he's safe. And I think just almost obscured by smoke, she just fades from behind the bar.
Evelina will look up and notice she's alone. And she'll take her glass and bring it behind the tavern bar. She'll wipe it down with her father's rag that she would see him do every night, and stack it up with the other glasses, and then walk out the door.
Hey, remember when we were laughing about serpents? I remember that. I loved that. That was a great time. Huh.
Feelings.
Ugh, I know.
Got really attached.
It's so good.
Wow. That does bring us to the end of our game tonight. That was wonderful. Thank you all for joining. It was a very unique game for me. I think I've played a couple of these indie games, but normally they have some sort of mechanic. So this one was pretty freeform, and it was nice, and I had a wonderful time role playing with all of you. So I do want to thank you all for joining me at this diner, or tavern, or Valhalla, or speakeasy, whatever it was. But before we close out for the night, I do want to give everyone a chance to share a little bit about themselves or where they could be found, anything you have to plug, anything cool coming up for you. Where can we catch you next? And we'll start with Hans.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
Me.
No pressure.
You're in the top left
Oh,
of the screen.
no. I am Hans. I can be found at HansKate on Instagram and Twitter and technically TikTok. You can find me here this Wednesday for Queer and Present Danger at 8 p.m. CST, because I only know my time zone.
Same.
Anything else? I guess, hey, Crit Awards are going to be a thing again this year, so make sure to keep an eye out for any information on there. I'll be sharing lots of stuff on Twitter and Instagram.
As will I.
And what character are you playing in Queer and Present Danger?
Ashira. I was like, it's an A name. It's not Annabelle.
Nailed it.
Yes. No one tell Cece. She's definitely sleeping and will never see that. It's fine. I play Ashira. She is a storm cleric, and yeah, it's exciting.
Right. Looking at the screen, I'll go last to close us out. So, Parker, can you go next?
Sure. Hi, I'm Parker Bliss all over the internet. I am a vocalist, TTRPG enthusiast, and cosplayer. Best places to find me, all over the internet, mostly now, is Twitch, YouTube, and Patreon. If you like me making silly characters that make you cry, I do that every month. I have a new NPC on my Patreon, and I do full stat blocks and Pinterest boards and playlists, and it's very fun, and I like getting people emotionally attached to my babies. Yeah, and then the next place that you can find me is actually PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia with Misty Mountain Gaming. So I will be there all weekend. So that is the next place to find me IRL, not at the screen. That's it.
Love that. So jealous.
That's me next. I'm
Yep.
just calling it out there. So you can find me either at new_age_geeks for all the streaming shit we do. That's on Twitch and YouTube. And if you want to follow me personally, you can follow me at New Age Cosplay. That's on TikTok
Twitter.
and
No.
Instagram. You can also catch me tomorrow, where I get to interview Rima from Queer and Present Danger for our first cast interview for them on Investigation Check, where I get to interview cool, geeky people and learn all about them. You can also find me in person for PAX Unplugged, where I will be there stalking all the people that have been on this channel that don't know I'm showing up. I'm just going to fucking show up randomly in cosplay and be like, hey, it's me. And they're like, who the fuck are you? It's like, hey, it's me. You know me.
I'm God.
It's God,
Amazing.
the voice of God.
Yeah.
That is commonly referred to as. But I think that's it. I think that's all I got.
I guess that leaves me.
Yeah.
Am I right? Hi, and almost bye. I have Misfit Playland all over the internet. If you're looking for actual regular content, I would follow my Blue Sky and Twitter, not Twitter. The next place that you can meet me IRL is also PAX Unplugged with Misty Mountain Gaming. And if you are looking for a podcast or something to listen to in your off time, I highly recommend the podcast that I actually play in, which is a Pathfinder 2 podcast. It's called Ash and Snow. It is in my link tree. We're just getting to the really, really good stuff. My characters just helped defeat a boss monster, and she's very proud of herself. I play a blind kitsune.
Ooh.
I come up with really weird character concepts.
It's a bold move,
Here
Cotton.
for it.
I also, if you're interested in learning different tabletops or playing in different tabletops or anything like that, I'm going to plug my Discord, the Playlands, where we do, in fact, teach people how to play different tabletop games. We have a Pathfinder game coming up, so if you are interested in learning Pathfinder, let me know. I'll get you added in the Discord and we can get you into that game. Let me know.
Yeah.
We love new people. Actually, Parker just played in my Monster of the Week game
Hell
on
yeah, dude.
Friday.
I made another character that was emotional.
It was very emotional.
I love it. And I'm Jem. You can find me anywhere on the internet at Gemboree, except for Instagram, which it's Gemaginative because somebody else has Gemboree. You can also find me on this channel every Monday playing Whisper, the chaotic elf druid, or running the show on Mondays as GoodBerry Cafe, which is the second Monday of the month. Or you can find me on Tuesdays on this channel every other Tuesday playing Mira, the elf sorceress, on Spell Shots. In-person stuff, I am sadly not going to PAX U, and I'm very sad about it because everyone cool in the world seems
We can
to be
be
going
sad
to
together.
PAX U. Yeah, I'm super sad about it. But I don't know what I have next convention-wise, event-wise, so we're just gonna have to stay tuned. I think I'm taking a couple months off because it's been a crazy year. But thank you all. Seriously, thank you again for joining me tonight. We've had a lot of back and forth with the cast. Some people had to drop last minute, so I just really appreciate everyone being here. And thank you to everyone out there listening, everyone in the chat for joining us here at GoodBerry Cafe. I hope you've enjoyed your stay, and I hope you'll check us out when we return on this channel next week at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern with Forging Fates. I believe we have next week, right, Joe?
Yep. And
Cool.
tomorrow is investigation check.
Tomorrow's investigation check. Wednesday is Queer and Present Danger. Next Monday is Forging Fates. All at the same time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And I hope you'll join us again at the cafe next month, the second Monday of the month. But until then, I encourage you to follow and subscribe to our channel. We just released some new merch in honor of our new show, Queer and Present Danger.
It's
We've got
so
some
good.
chaotic bisexual merch out there, including water bottles for all of your liquids. With
Stay
that,
thirsty, my friends.
yes.
I don't think that's a problem on this channel.
I love you all, and I hope you have a very good night. Thank you.